I was 8 years old when I woke up to the sound of my mom screaming, "God, my baby, please don't take my baby." I ran across the hall to find my 18-month-old baby sister, Amory, lifeless on my parents' bed. My mom hovering over her, pressing on her chest, and blowing air into her mouth. She looked up at me. "Hal, call 911. I picked up the phone. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely press the buttons. When the ambulance came, they loaded Amory. My mom joined her and they drove away. And in only a way an 8-year-old can, I assumed everything would be okay. The people in the ambulance would save her. That's what they do. My mom's friend Janine came and picked me up and took me to her house. And I played with her son Ben on the living room floor. And then the phone rang. It was my dad. "Hey, Dad, is Amory okay?" And I heard something I never heard before. My dad was crying. "No, Hal, she's in heaven." At 8 years old, I didn't know how to process that. So I walked back into the living room and I announced, "Hey guys, guess where Amory is? She's in heaven. Isn't that great? Heaven's supposed to be the best place ever." I remember Janine's face looking at me with this deep look of sadness. She knew something that I didn't. Amory had died that morning, and she was never coming back. That morning changed my life in a way I would have never chosen. And yet it was the first time I experienced what I spent the rest of my life learning. We can't always control what happens to us, but it is our responsibility to choose how we respond. Most of us know that intellectually. We've heard it before. We've nodded along. But my parents showed me what that choice actually looks like. Within a year of Amory passing away, my mom started a support group for other parents who had lost children, and she led it every month for over 10 years. My dad started an annual fundraiser for the hospital that cared for Amory in her final hours. They couldn't bring her back, but the response that they chose was to find purpose in their pain by helping other people. What we may not realize is that that response, that choice of how we respond, isn't something that only presents itself in a tragedy. In fact, we make it every single morning, the moment we wake up. Think about your mornings, the first 60 seconds. As soon as you open your eyes, before your feet hit the floor, how do you set your intention for the day? What's the first thing you do? Most of us reach for our phones. And just like that, before we've had a single conscious thought, we surrender our intention to outside forces. Notifications, text messages, emails, social media, other people's priorities. And then we spend the rest of the day trying to catch up in a state of stress and reactivity and overwhelm. And by the time we go to bed, we wonder why we feel like we're falling short of the person that we know we're capable of being. Here's what nobody ever told us. How we start our morning is crucial to our quality of life because it sets the tone for everything that follows. It determines our mindset, how effectively we respond to our challenges, how prepared we are to take advantages of the opportunities in front of us. And if that's true, it means the most important moment of our day isn't a meeting or a deadline or a conversation. It's literally the first 10 minutes after we wake up, before anyone or anything else captures our attention. 20 years after Amory passed away, I found myself at one of my lowest points. At 28 years old, I was about to discover again that one morning could change my life. Only this time in the most positive and profound way that I could have never imagined. It was 2008. The United States was in the midst of the Great Recession. Everybody was worried about the economy, but not me. I was a life and business success coach. I was an optimist. One of my mottos was, I create my own economy. Unfortunately, all my positive thinking didn't change reality. Within 6 months, I lost over half of my clients, half of my income, and my wife Ursula and I lost our first home. We were drowning in debt. I was scared, I was depressed, and I didn't know what to do. And that's when Ursula suggested that I call my good friend John and ask him for advice. So I did. And John suggested that I listen to a Jim Rohn audio program, which I thought was a complete waste of time because I just needed to make money and pay the bills. But I was also desperate, so what the heck? I listened to the Jim Rohn audio, and Jim said one thing that landed differently than anything I'd ever heard before. Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development. And in that moment, it hit me. If I want to turn my life around, I have to develop myself into the person that's capable of doing it. And I'd invite you to consider whether that's true for you too. That the life you want is available to you. It's on the other side of the person that you need to become to create it. So I went searching for the best personal development practice I could find, but I couldn't find one. I found 6. Meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and journaling. And then it hit me. I went, well, wait a minute. If any one of these practices will change my life if I do it consistently, what if I did all of them? So I woke up the next morning and I kind of fumbled my way through all 6 practices, and something remarkable happened. The fear and anxiety and depression that had consumed me for the last 6 months started to fade. And I began to think, if I start every day like this, it is only a matter of time before I become the person that I need to be to turn my life around. So I did it again the next morning, and the next, and the morning after that. Within 2 months, my mindset and my habits completely changed. I doubled my number of coaching clients, I doubled my income, and I went from being depressed and feeling helpless at the mercy of the economy to feeling empowered and excited about my life again. So I started sharing it with my coaching clients. I remember the moment I was walking down the hallway and Ursula came out of the bedroom and we locked eyes, and I said, babe, this morning routine has changed my life so fast, it feels like a miracle. And without skipping a beat, she goes, it's your miracle morning. I go, I like that, my miracle morning. Now, at the time, it never even occurred to me that it could become a book. I was just sharing it with my clients because it was changing my life and my job was to change their lives. And because it worked, one after another, their lives were transformed. And that's when I thought, well, if it worked for them and it worked for me, and none of us were really morning people, this could work for anyone. So I thought I should try writing a book. And that's when Ursula handed me a thesaurus and she said, sweetheart, you need to make the 6 practices memorable. Figure out an acronym. Okay, it worked. Meditation became silence. Journaling became scribing. Affirmations, visualization, exercise, and reading stayed the same. And the first letter of each word spelled the word savers. And it truly felt meant to be because that's what they were doing. They were saving my life. Now, here's the part of the story I don't usually tell. In 2008, when I started the Miracle Morning, I was desperate. So the question that I've been asked many times since then, and I've asked myself is, 18 years later, why do I still do my savers every morning? And the answer is because I'm not just doing it for me anymore. I'm doing it to be the dad that my kids deserve, and the husband that Ursula deserves, and the leader that my team and my community deserve. My priorities have changed, but what hasn't changed is my commitment to start every single day at my best so I can show up that way for myself, the people I love, and the people that I lead. And that shift from survival to service, from a crisis tool to a daily commitment, changed what the Miracle Morning actually is. It's not just a recovery program for hard times. It's great for that. But it's a daily ritual to become the person that you want to be. Now, the part that's still surreal to me is over 3 million people in more than 100 countries have read the Miracle Morning. And every day, people around the world are starting their day with intention. They are using their mornings to become who they want to be. And what happens when millions of people do that consistently? We become more aware, more present, more intentional about how we show up for ourselves and others. We show up better for our families, our teams, our communities. We become, in the most literal sense, better humans. So here's what I want to invite you to do tomorrow morning. Before you reach for your phone, just give yourself 10 minutes. Choose one of the 6 practices. Just one practice, 10 minutes, tomorrow morning. Sit in silence and calm your mind. Affirm who you're committed to being for the day. Visualize yourself showing up that way. Exercise to wake up your brain and increase your energy. Read something that sharpens your thinking. Scribe, which is really just a fancy word for writing, but the W would have made the Savers acronym awkward. So just write something that you're grateful for. And most importantly, allow yourself to sit in that state of gratitude for this one life you've been blessed to live and feel it. Just one practice, just 10 minutes tomorrow morning. Not because your life is in crisis, not because your life needs to be fixed, unless it does, but because we all deserve to start every day as the best version of ourselves. The people in our lives deserve that version of us. And that version is best developed in the morning, every single day, before the rest of the world steals our attention. I think back to that 8-year-old who walked into Janine's living room and announced that his baby sister was in heaven. I didn't know how to respond. I just intuitively chose the response that gave me peace. My parents chose the response that gave them purpose. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can always choose how we respond. And the Miracle Morning is the daily practice that enables us to show up and respond at our best, to show up for the people that you love and the people that you lead. One morning can change your life. It changed mine, and it continues to every single day. It can change yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Hal.